the advancements with Gen AI have allowed us to start to tackle some of the pieces in the content creation process, hopefully reduce that churn, get brands kick-started on the brainstorming, the copywriting, get their products into some visually compelling imagery, and really make it a lot easier to get A+ content onto their listings faster and reap the benefits of A+ content sooner.
Hello everyone, my name is Cameron and I'm joined by Lauren today, and we're talking about A+ content as well as generative AI, two really powerful subjects in the world of Amazon. So Lauren, thank you so much for being here. I think before we jump in, it would probably be good for you to just introduce yourself. So if we could start there and then we'll jump right in.
Sure, well, thank you for having me. My name is Lauren Currie. I have been at Amazon for almost 5 years now. And I've been leading the user experience within A+ content, which is available for brands on Seller and Vendor Central. Before coming to Amazon, I was with General Dynamics for 11 years. I actually have a background in marketing. And I spent time at General Dynamics working on content, branded content, and messaging, kind of like a lot of our brands do in that space. And so at Amazon, I've been talking to brands and kind of figuring out how they go about creating A+ content, their creative process, pain points, what they like, don't like, and then trying to put that feedback into features that we've been developing.
That's great. I'm sure sellers feel that a lot.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with what's new with A+ content, and then we'll go further from there. But what's new in general for A+ content right now?
We've been working on a lot of different features, some shoppable stuff, but over the past year, we have been investing a lot in Gen AI. And, we're trying to address some of the pain points and the feedback that we get from brands about their creative process. Amazon created A+ content to allow brands a place to go into their products and their brand and who they are and bring like their brand style to the detail page. And we give them a place to do that so that they can talk more about their products. And I totally understand how much of a process it can be to create marketing content. You're brainstorming with text and trying to get images into a place that you're really happy with that design, look, and feel. And I hear the same thing when I talk to brands that, this is kind of their process. And the recent advancements with Gen AI is allowing us to start to tackle some of that content creation process and reduce maybe some of the churn in there. And we have been developing our Gen AI feature with some of that understanding from brands and trying to tackle there's various pieces that they have in the design process.
That's really exciting. Generative AI, it's huge right now.
Yeah.
A+ content seems to unlock a lot of that, especially with the developments that are happening right now. Maybe starting a little bit at the top as well, for those people who maybe aren't as familiar with A+ content, for the brands that are unfamiliar, can you tell us a bit more about what it is and how to use it?
Yeah. A+ content's actually been around for a while, I think since 2012. So, we've been a tool that brands have been using for a bit, and it's a free tool for brand registered selling partners on Amazon. And it allows them to go into their product detail and talk about the features and the benefits and educate their customers on what it is they're selling and help, overcome that barrier to online shopping and bring in those like brand elements that they have such that it's, their place on the detail page to tell their story and to engage with their customers. And, I think the benefit of it is being able to elevate your brand presence and, the conversion rate is also associated with A+ content. We've seen that if, high quality A+ content can actually boost sales by about 20%. So it's definitely a good thing for brands to have.
Yeah.
We also have the shoppable content like I was talking about, and that can help increase your conversion rate by 2 times. We see that customers add to cart 2 times more frequently when you don't have the shoppable content. So we encourage brands to get in there and use and take advantage of that feature. And then the last piece that I think is really important about A+ content is the addressing common customer concerns. So again, customers can't touch and feel your product. So trying to make sure that you're overcoming any concerns that they have such that when they receive your product, they're happy about it and you're building that trust and they'll come back and purchase from your brand.
customers love the what AI or A plus content brings to the table. I think answers a lot of questions for them. It's really exciting to hear about all this. Customers just love it. And whatever enhances that customer experience is great. So that's a bit about the what, but what about the how? So how should brands leverage A plus content?
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty easy to access in Seller Central when you go in, or Vendor Central, and you go into the A Plus Content Manager. And A Plus Content, one piece of A Plus Content is built in what we call modules. So it's a series of modules. And when brands create that, each module is comprised of images, and it's comprised of like different text fields, and they have to, that's all that their created content, and they'll add images to what we call their asset library. So they're bringing in all of their graphically designed images, and then they go through and they add that to their brand donations, and that's where then it gets to the detail page, and then it's their spot on the detail page.
Now, so there's a difference between A plus content and premium A plus content. What are the differences between those?
Yeah, basic A plus and premium A plus are both what I call product focused features for A plus content. Basic A plus is our free offering for brands, whereas Premium A plus is a gated offering, and there's some criteria for brands to meet to get to that, and that's to ensure that they understand how to use our tool and that they can make great A plus content. And offers access to some more advanced modules, so like more interactive hotspots, navigation carousels, videos, but they're both meant to go deeper into the product itself and focus on features, focus on benefits, and use their brand imagery to do so. And they're a great way to educate the customers and ultimately encourage repeat purchases.
Now, one other aspect of this conversation is A plus brand story. And I think it might be helpful to cover what that is for everyone watching. So can you tell me a bit about A plus brand story, what that is and why it matters?
Yeah, Brand Story was launched kind of end of 2021, and it does fly under the radar, but it is one of my favorite. It is my favorite A plus content feature, and it is meant to be brand focused. So where basic and premium are product focused, and you might put that on an ASIN or a set of ASINs and like a ASIN family. Brand Story is meant to go across the brand catalog. And it is a way for brands to go into their vision, mission, really educate customers on who they are as a brand. And then you can link to your Amazon brand store and also showcase different products across your brand catalog. So it allows for some of that upsell opportunity. And I've loved to see how some brands have used it. And I think it's a great way for them to really kind of bring those brand elements to life. And then it's meant to be used alongside basic A plus and premium A plus. So it's not an either or. And basic A plus or premium, that'll be your product focused. Brand Story is your brand focused, and so you'll have those two elements and really maximize that space on the detail page.
Yeah, more ways to show the brand and reach the customer in really creative ways. That's great. So what about another aspect of this, like kind of going even deeper, is shoppable A plus content. So how is that different from the things that we've talked about already as well?
So Shoppable A plus content is a module within A plus content, and it was something that we've been hearing from brands forever. Can you please make the A plus content shoppable? So last year at Accelerate, we put the shoppable comparison charts in Premium A plus, and then this past year we expanded it to Basic A plus. So now both Premium and Basic A plus are shoppable. And what that allows the customers to do is, as they're comparing different products within your brand catalog, if they like a different product, they can just add it to cart from there. And so they don't have to go through different, detail pages to kind of figure out, what product best suits my needs. As a brand, you control which products you want to show to your customers and hopefully get them to a place where they're able to make a better informed purchase decision. And the shoppable comparison charts, obviously the add to cart button, but now it brings in the pricing information, customer reviews, and then of course along any other highlights of the product that you want to showcase and help get your customers to choose the best product out of your catalog that best suits their needs, and then they can add to cart right from there.
That's great. So A plus is a big part of this conversation. AI is also another pretty big aspect. Hot topic today, big part of generative AI here, right? So is this aspect of AI that's relevant to this conversation, is it built in-house Was it built elsewhere? Tell me about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So, like a lot of the different Amazon products that we're speaking about here at Accelerate, a lot of products are investing in Gen AI to reduce the overall cost of doing business on Amazon. There's a lot of tools available for brands to use, and I know that that can be a big undertaking, and so uh, we've been investing in Gen AI to help kind of reduce some of that cost. And so, yeah, all of our AI is built in-house. The text and image models are built in-house, and we do leverage things that are easily accessible, like Amazon Bedrock.
Yeah, that's really powerful. That's really powerful for generative AI. So in the conversation of A plus content, let's kind of bridge these two conversations together. Why use Gen AI for or in A plus?
Yeah. So in my previous experience working at General Dynamics, and I had a great graphic designer, and we spent a lot of time. I would brainstorm the messaging, and then we would work on, maybe multiple designs, but before we got to a place where we felt like, yes, we like this design. And so, given that, we're constantly looking for ways to help brands through that entire process. And the advancements with Gen AI have allowed us to start to tackle some of the pieces in the content creation process, hopefully reduce that churn, get brands kickstarted on the brainstorming, the copywriting, get their products into some visually compelling imagery, and really make it a lot easier to get A plus content onto their listings faster and reap the benefits of A plus content sooner.
I think one other question that I'm guessing sellers might have when around this conversation of Gen AI is whether they have to use it and or also maybe what aspects of control they have over
Yeah.
the content if they're implementing that Gen
Yeah.
AI. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. We always want to keep brands in the loop and have them in control of their A plus content. We're just trying to provide them some different options to create their content. And they don't have to use the tool, but it is there available for their use if they want to use it. We want them to maintain control and ultimately have the final say about what they publish to their listing. It's their listing, so they can choose to use the AI tool if they want to. If they don't want to, they don't have to use it. But it is there for them to kind of figure out how best they want to use it to suit their needs. And we won't ever use it to publish content on the detail page without their consent or them knowing. We really want them in the loop and
Mhm.
having the final say over stuff.
What can you touch on also a little bit of what makes this Gen AI unique from other Gen AI tools, and also maybe what your experience has been
Yeah.
leveraging that so far too?
Yeah. So, I mean, Gen AI is pretty new in the terms of its accessibility, and I think we're all still trying to figure out how best to use Gen AI to make the brands' lives easier. And there are so many different things we could have tackled with the Gen AI feature, as we're talking to brands, all of their different use cases. And so we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we, tackle some of these use cases? And I think the couple of things that stood out most when we were talking to brands and what we decided to focus on was, I mean, they're using A plus content like you should be using A plus content. They want to talk about their product features that separate them from the competition. They also want that like consistency across, modules and that look and feel and with their brand. And as we started to develop our Gen AI, we realized it was kind of complex. We are not just creating text, we're not just creating images. We're trying to combine those two things that they make sense. And the text should be, kind of talking about what's in the image. And I think in a perfect world, we would be able to develop the content 100% perfect on the first go. So all the brands have to say is like, great, I love it, and then move on to all the other things that they have to do. But we're just really kind of getting started in this space so that we can kickstart some of that process for them. Text has been, I think, a little bit easier to tackle. We're using the listing information and we're able to start crafting messaging, synthesizing that information on the detail page and allowing brands to, make just minor edits if they need to. The imagery is a lot more complex and, it can get quirky. We see sometimes it's like an object floating in space, but we're getting there. And even since we started with Gen AI and looking at the imagery models, they're producing much better results over time. So we're constantly kind of trying to refine that such that we really get to a place where brands, it's almost kind of like they're working in their photo editing tools
Yeah.
to get there. we're not trying to use Gen AI to make up the product. So we're taking their product shots that they have taken and we're putting it into some visually compelling imagery, but trying to make sure that we always maintain the authenticity of that product so that, customers know what they're going to buy.
Sure. Yeah, it's really interesting to consider like how much or generative AI. I think people that use Gen AI are used to some of those quirks.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's the fact that it's so early in
yeah.
its nature is also really exciting to see where we're going from here. So I think lastly, touching on or going even further, do you have any tips or best practices or words of wisdom when it comes to everything that we've talked about
Yeah.
thus far?
Yeah. So if you're a brand and you're just starting out with A plus content, or you're wanting to start out even with Gen AI, what I would recommend is starting with a few different product shots on a white background. White backgrounds work best. And if you can get some product shots, you don't have to get, expensive photography or anything like that. A lot of our smartphones have pretty great resolution. So you can do it scrappy like that. And I think you'd come up with high resolution product shots that you can use and go into the A plus content manager and start to build out module by module, focusing on a different key feature for each module. So you might go in, you add your ASIN. We built it to be quite simple, such that all you have to do is, if all you wanted to do is implement your ASIN, we'll create text and image for you. But implement an ASIN, you can custom prompt the text field. So you focus on that first key feature. You choose that first product shot and allow the model to generate both text and image into the module, move on to the next module, and maybe focus on a different key feature and a different product shot, and start to build out your A plus content that way. There's also the Gen AI feature has lifestyle imagery, so it's without a product shot. But I think it provides the ability to have some diversity within your modules, and it's still kind of on theme with your product and your brand. And even aside from, using Gen AI or not, I always tell brands, to focus on what's in it for me as customers are trying to purchase. So not only the features, but the benefits, if, what it is and what it actually does for the customer, like why should they buy this product? And I think the key detail is that, your customers are buying online, so they don't get to touch and feel your product. They're trusting that what they buy from you is what they expect. So I think brands should remember that this is trying to overcome any purchase barriers of online, so that when brands do or customers receive your product, they're happy with it. They'll come back to you, and you've ultimately built that trust and that lasting relationship with the customer.
I love this. I think if I'm approaching this from the perspective of a shopper as well, this is going to enhance my perspective, my experience with brands. I think brands should really be excited about this too. So thank you for talking about
Yeah.
A plus Gen AI. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this develops over time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.